Hey there, I just wanted to make a video to show my wife's 2006 Toyota Corolla. It's currently for sale on Craigslist, so I assume that's how you got to this video. It's got the original keys. There's actually, I think we have 2 of these key fobs, 2 of these black keys, and then there's also another gray one that's a valet key. Just kind of a joke, but we've got all 3 keys. Can unlock the driver door, second time unlocks the rest of the doors, lock the doors. You can also unlock just the driver door, so you can see that one's locked, this one's open. But if you turn it twice, it unlocks all the other doors. Let's see here. Also, there's another lock on the passenger side, which seems like most cars these days don't have. And on this side, the one turn opens all the doors. So you can... So let's see here. Everything works on this car. It does obviously need some work, if you can see the clear coat. It's come up in most places on the car, the mirrors. The bottom half below this pinstripe seems to be alright. I don't know if anybody was interested. I think some shops can work on just the top portion of a car. It has aftermarket wheels, sort of. They're from a Scion TC. It had 15-inch steel wheels with hubcaps. Now it has these 17-inch Scion TC wheels. The brakes in here, I believe that those are ceramic brakes, but they help the car stop a little bit faster. And they make a lot less brake dust, it seems like. So can't remember if those were ceramic or not, but I know the ones I picked were purposely to get less brake dust, because the wheels were getting dirty when I first swapped them. I added on factory fog lights. This car didn't come with them. It is a Corolla LE, but I think you had to get an S to get fog lights on this year. Could be wrong about that. You can see somebody's hit their door on this before. Has these bump guards here, which obviously they work. They have these different chips in them. The rear brakes are drum brakes. Car stops just fine. It doesn't need any brakes right now. The rear, the key works here. Let's see if I can get in here so you can see better. So there's these latches that you can pull on, and when you do that, you can push down the seats. Maybe I have to do something inside. It's been a long time since I've messed with those. Oh, that one worked. So it's a 60/40 fold down seat. It'd go down further, but I have that front driver's seat all the way down right now. Not sure why this one is letting go for some reason. Looks like maybe if I hold it pulled out. Okay, so I pushed while I was holding, and it did fold down. I'll show you. You do move the seats They will fold down all the way. And then you can actually take the seatbelt off of the outboard seats. This inboard, you can't take that off. But so the seats, they do fold all the way down. You can see, you know, that one. If the seat's all the way back, you can't. So I've actually, a long time ago, back in college, I used this to, I moved a 26-inch mountain bike in the back of this car. So it does create quite a bit of space if you're pretty good at Tetris. Let's see. I'm trying to point out everything so that, you know, you don't come and look at this and then get disappointed because it's not what you thought it would be. It has the factory floor mats, obviously dirty. We've never taken this to a detailer or anything. Underneath, it's pretty clean. These mats have always been in the car. Glove box, we still have the original owner's manual. The car is currently registered. The cabin air filter is behind this if you take the glove box door off. And it doesn't need to be replaced yet. You can see these spots on the seat. We've got little kids and these are melted crayons. I cleaned it off of the surface, but there's still some within. Can't really feel it. We don't use any seat covers, so it's noticeable to us. If you're somebody that likes seat covers, you'd never know. Tried to clean everything up, but I'm not a car detailer or anything. There's a storage space there. And then another deeper one, like most cars would have, with the power outlet down there. Got a handbrake. It's automatic, so that's rarely been used in this car, but it has been used for parking on hills and such. There's another power outlet. It's a storage tray. This is not smoking. This is just another storage spot. This wire here, it's an auxiliary line. This car doesn't have an auxiliary in anywhere. And what this is basically an aftermarket part that plugs into the back of the head unit that lets you plug in, you know, your phone or iPod or whatever. It's not fantastic, but it's gotten me through. You know, it's nothing special, but if you're willing to deal with it, I'll show you here in a little bit how to actually use it. Because since there's not an aux in, there's not a button for it, but it still works. I'll show you. It's pretty simple. Right here, at some point, this section broke, and that's just super glued back. It's been working fine since then. Steering wheel definitely has wear. Again, if you are somebody that's okay with a cover, it's no big deal. We don't use covers for pretty much anything, but a steering wheel cover would cover that up. It's a pretty nice feeling wheel. The mirror up here, your dim, has lights underneath on both sides. They both work. Let's have the mirrors on this side. The other side has the flip up. These do not extend out, so if you fold them down, you can't pull them out to come out this way. And you can't pull it out like that. My Jeep over here, it can do that. So the light works with the door. You can turn it on and off. All the power locks, all the switches, everything works on this car. The rear has these switches for your child locks. Still the power windows. So the headrests, they're removable if you ever needed to take them off. I think I've had this one off for my daughter's car seat. This was in the way for that. The passenger seat has a mat pocket. The driver's seat doesn't. It has a flip out drink holder. The tires, I didn't point out earlier, they're 215/45 R17. These particular tires, I think, have 18,000 miles on them, and I believe they're a 40,000 mile tire. But I mean, if I can get in here without a shadow, you can see this is the wear mark. Most of the tread is still on here from when we bought the tires. They are directional. If I can try and show that. Yeah, so they are directional. The spare tire, which we have the spare and all the tools. So underneath here, here's the tools. There's the jack. There's the spare. The spare has never been used. Or, oh, it was used. Maybe the first year we had it once. These are extra lug nuts. These are specifically for the spare. When I changed the wheels to the Scion TC wheels, they use different lug nuts, so I kept a set in case we ever had a flat. You could still put on the spare. Let's see. All of the lights work on the car. The radio. This gas cover, you can't push on it to open. You have to open it from inside the car, so people can't come and open it up. What else? The windshield's not cracked or anything. None of the windows are. There's a big mark on this front bumper. That was my fault. I wasn't actually driving this car. I backed a truck into it and the trailer hitch got it. Didn't dent it, just peeled off the paint there. What else? There's a mark on the rear bumper. There's another mark here. I don't know what this one is from. That could have been, perhaps somebody else hit us. I wasn't there for that, whatever that is. On this rear, not sure how well that's coming in. I can't see very well. But these marks, you can see again, there's no dent. It's just all scratched, backed into a post a few years back. So the antennas up here. You can see there might be some slight hail damage, but I can't see any of it right now. If there was any on this car, it wasn't very much. Or our Jeep over there got more damage. But the car wasn't here when it was hailing. It was somewhere else. So there may not be any, but that's something you can take a look at. And I just use the key to unlock it. So all the fobs, they do work. I just don't like using them. Let's see here. The driver's side also has the mat, so of course is pretty dirty too. This side has the hooks. I don't know if this was before or after Toyota's got a lot of trouble for supposed unintended acceleration. Never had that problem here. There's the dead pedal. There's the brake and the accelerator. You can see the wear on the right side of that brake pedal. I've always been told wear on just the right side, that's a good indicator of a car that has about 100,000 miles. When the rest of it starts to wear down, that's you're looking at 200,000. But this has a digital odometer, so I don't know that you could even lie about that. Down here on the floor, this is where you can see you can open the trunk from inside. That's why I don't understand the purpose of the valet key. It doesn't. The only difference between the regular keys and the valet key is the valet key is gray and it will not open the trunk lock. But it opens the rest of the doors, and you open the trunk from this switch here. There's no way to lock it out. I know some cars you can lock them out with the key. So that's why I say it's a joke. This is where you open the fuel door. You can see it's open now. The same with the trunk. It works. Let's see here. Here's the hood latch. Also, this driver's seat has the recline switch like the passenger seat does, but it also can adjust height. I've never used that before. I actually didn't even know it did that. So now the hood is popped. You can see right there where your hand goes. And you put your fingers underneath the latch and lift it up. And this hood doesn't have any struts, so here's what you will use to prop it. And I'm going to set down my phone so I can prop that up. Okay, you can see it still has the cover underneath here. If you didn't know, these all have plastic covers so that they can melt if your engine were to catch on fire. This would drop down and hopefully suffocate the flame. Washer fluid was recently topped off. Power steering is fine. Well, everything under here is fine, the coolant and everything. The air cleaner, it has a Spectre lifetime air cleaner, or it's like a 1,000,000-mile air cleaner or something like that. You just have to clean it out every time it gets dirty and let it completely dry before you put it back in. I took the engine cover off of this a long time ago, just the plastic cover, because I do all my own maintenance and I don't like the engine cover anyway. Everything else is good. I've never had any problems, other than I've had to replace a battery twice when the car was still fairly new. And more recently, we've purchased, I think they're 8-year batteries, and we haven't had any trouble with them. So this one is still good. No problems with it. No problems with anything under here. It's the oil fill, the dipstick for the oil, and transmission dipstick. So you can check those levels. Let me put the hood back down. Okay, so just standard key. Let's see here. Let's see. Need gas right now. I'm going to put a little bit more in sometime tomorrow or the next day. Mileage is at 130,802. Has a temperature gauge. Outside temperature gauge, I should say. Your coolant temperature gauge, fuel, tachometer. It's telling me to buckle up. And the check engine light. The check engine light, that's probably the main problem with this car outside of the clear coat peeling up. And it's just not a problem I've ever been willing to fix. due to cost and the purpose. I've had it checked out. That engine light comes on because this car needs a new catalytic converter, and it doesn't affect the way the car runs. We don't have emissions testing here in Roswell, so I've just never bothered with it. I'm pretty well mechanically inclined. I like to think I know if there's a problem with the car, and so I don't really need to check engine light as much. But at any rate, if that's a problem for you, I mean, I'm not gonna fix this, so but I just want you to know that is what the light is for. It used to actually make a noise where the catalytic converter is at, kind of underneath the floorboard there. But I'm pretty sure it was just because the internals of it were deteriorating, and when you were accelerating, those broken pieces were kind of flying around inside of it. If you don't know, they kind of look like a muffler a little bit, but basically fragments just flying around in there. Right now it doesn't make any noise. So again, it's not something I'm going to fix. I would expect anybody that buys this car probably wouldn't have that thought unless, say, you were going to move to Albuquerque or somewhere that has emissions testing. The horn works. There's a storage pocket here. You can adjust the light. If you're driving at nighttime, you can adjust how bright that is in the back. The mirrors here, they're power mirrors. They're not heated, but they are power, and these are the controls there, so you can see. I've never actually used this. I wouldn't think that you would ever need to use it, but this car, it can tell you if you've got a low tire. I believe this is to reset it, but I've never needed to use it, so I've never couldn't tell you exactly how to use it. The car does have cruise control. It works. You push this button to turn it on, and that will light it up on the dash. I'm getting terrible light here, but cruise, and then push it down to set it, up to resume, and then you can cancel it by pulling it towards you, or you can cancel it by turning it off. All of these controls work as well for the HVAC system. Blows cold and hot, no problems there. Defroster for the rear works. Recirculation works. AC, of course, works. Hazards. This is not a button, it's just an indicator for your passenger airbag, and it's automatic on off. So if somebody isn't sitting here, it should be off while you're actually driving. The radio works for the most part. Let's see here. It's a 6-disc, just built in. It's not like in the trunk or anything. But the problem is just, I assume the changer needs to be cleaned, or maybe it's just worn out. I'm not for sure. But if you switch to that, I've got one CD in there right now. Sorry for this light, guys. So it's playing. I don't know if you noticed, I hit that disc button more than once. If I hit it again and leave this disc, that's not changing CDs, that's changing it to this audio source that I was talking about, that I installed. And it's installed there pretty clean. There's not a bunch of mess of wire or anything. It's just, you have to turn up the volume pretty loud, unless you've got I think it's called a hi-fi DAC. And my phone doesn't. I think the iPod and Zune and everything that I've tried in here in the past didn't. But the CD player also in certain weather, it seems to be weather related anyway, it won't work very well, or it won't work at all. You have to switch to the radio. But you know, most often it works. Load in the extra CDs here. This light here will turn green when it's ready to load. Of course, I'm ejecting a CD, but if you want to see, so it's ready to take it. So again, those are just things I would think whoever would buy this, I would want them to be aware. You know, it's not a perfect car, but it's a pretty good car. You can adjust the seat belts up and down. I like mine down for the most part. If you've got any other questions, just go ahead and send me a text. My number should be in the Craigslist description, but if you don't see it there, it's 575-914-0225. Thank you. Bye.